Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are on the planet today. Sunday, the 15th of June, we have Mars in Leo square Uranus in Taurus. We've also got Jupiter in Cancer squaring Saturn today. So I'm lying low today, and for those of you that are just beginning your day, I would suggest maybe you take it a bit easy today. It's quite challenging energy, but welcome to the weekly forecast, astrological forecast for the week ahead, starting from the 15th. Hello, everybody. Hello, Simi. Hello, Wishing Pool Tarot, and everybody else who is already joining in. And hi, Shirley. Good to see you here. So I know that in Canada, we have the G7 today starting, and all the world leaders are literally, as we speak, arriving in Canada, in Ottawa. And I know that some of you have said you are concerned about security, about the astrological energies. What can I say? The thing is, with any of these large events, like yesterday in the United States, they had the parade for the military parade, and which also coincided with the birthday of President Trump. And as far as I know, that went without any problems, although I believe there were protests in many cities across America. But, you know, there is nothing wrong with peaceful protesting. In England, interestingly, yesterday, it was the Trooping of the Colour, which is an annual event where the monarch, and in this case, King Charles III, celebrates his official birthday. So he has two birthdays. He has his real one, which is actually not till, I think it's November, because he's a Scorpio. And then he has his official birthday. And this year it was yesterday. Hi, Lady Anne. Good to see you. Guided Woman. Hello. Albina Diaz. Hello from South Africa. Fantastic. Manuela. Yes, my shoulder is doing absolutely beautifully. Rebecca, hi from Ohio. Poonam, hi. Janice, welcome from Donegal. Thank you for bringing that to our attention. Yes, the assassination of one attempted and one successful assassination of two Democratic politicians in Minnesota yesterday. Mars in Leo square Uranus in Taurus. These are the kind of events we can expect with this kind of energy. We've had it from about the middle of last week, as we went through the week, as we progressed through the week, and which is why, you know, the advice has been to just take it easy, respond, don't react, don't let people push your buttons, because it's a knee-jerk reactionary energy that we have around. But that assassination of the Democratic senator, I don't know if she was a senator or a politician, and her husband, is just truly awful, along with the other politician who also got shot, and I believe his wife did as well. So pretty typical of this kind of energy. As we know, we had the very sad, tragic loss of the Air India flight on, I think it was Thursday, wasn't it? And that was just devastating. And again, it's clear that with this kind of energy, there's actually been, there was a bomb scare on another flight that had to divert back to Thailand because, again, there was concern about the safety of the people on board the aeroplane. It was Air India again. And I guess that with the problems between India and Pakistan. And Poonam, you may be able to enlighten us on this. All sorts of things are possible. Oh, Sil, I'm so glad to see you here. Oh gosh, I'm so close. I'm so glad you're here, because I was concerned you wouldn't actually make it here tonight. Albina, excuse me, Albina Diaz, you are very welcome and welcome here. And hi, Anne, good to see you here. When it cools down a bit astrologically, when does it cool down a bit, Manuela? I think there is a crescendo this week, because apart from today, where we have the Mars-Uranus square exact today, Sunday the 15th, we've also got the Jupiter in Cancer square Saturn. Now, I refer you to my Astrobite for the Mars-Uranus. I think it's called Expect the Unexpected, because I go in depth on that video into what we can expect with this energy. Poonam, I'm just seeing what you're saying. Kashmir, which has been a hot button between the two countries, has been very much affected and needs just a spark to ignite. And talking on that, of course, we have the fact that Israel and Iran are lobbing missiles at each other. And this, coming back to where we came in with the G7 in Canada, and we don't want to make this a completely political astrological forecast, but I would imagine they are going to be very focused on current terrible world developments and finding ways to just take the heat down. When will this change? I can feel you're asking me. And Sil, you're saying you want Aquarius vibes to take place. Well, the moon has moved into Aquarius now. It's at about 20, something like that, 20 degrees of Aquarius. So we do actually have the moon in Aquarius today, and that just means we can get a little bit of a distance on events. So let's just have a look at this energy for today, and then I'll talk us through the rest of the week. And I've actually got to do quite a few videos this week because there's an awful lot happening. It's really hot stuff. Okay, Simi, so since you lived in Alberta, you've had quite a few protests against the President of the United States coming to the summit. Today, Lady Anne, the moon is in Aquarius. And Craftomatic, hello, perspective, yes, absolutely. Okay, so astrologically, things will cool down. I suspect we will see a shift in the energies when Mars moves into Virgo on the 17th, which is the day after tomorrow. And because that's going to take some of the heat off, and it will move off this strident square with Uranus. And also when Uranus moves into Gemini for a few months, from July the 7th, we will get a fresher and a shift in the energies. So that will make a difference. Hello from Netherlands, Esterella. What a pretty name. Lovely to see you here. Craftomatic, you're an Aquarius sun. So yes, don't lose hope, everybody. This energy will shift. And how it might be affecting us on a personal level is that we can find that we are feeling like our buttons get pushed. Situations can occur that are unexpected, irritating, frustrating, situations that we hadn't bargained for, so that we really do feel pushed into a tight corner with this kind of energy. So Yes, that's right, Cosmic BL. There was a helicopter crashed in India as well overnight, I believe. And Nikki Hensel, good to see you. So yes, the energy is really difficult these next few days. Let's just have a look at the chart for today, and let me just take you through it. So we have Mars squaring Uranus. The energy of that is beginning to fade because Mars has already moved a few minutes beyond its square with Uranus. So that is good news. That is good news. So there may be some residual shocks over the next day or so, but my feeling is we've seen the worst of what the Mars-Uranus energy can throw at us. I think it's interesting that Uranus rules aviation, and that aviation has been so key in what we've been discussing. And I know the UK have made the decision to move fighter jets to the Middle East. So there's a real ramping up of rhetoric, weaponry, aeroplanes, jets. So, you know, this energy is there. Let's also look at this Jupiter square Saturn, because we have two opposing energies. We have Jupiter exalted in Cancer, happy in Cancer, going, well, hey, let's go. Let's just get this done. Let's do this. And I have to remember not to kind of fling my arm around too much because it hurts. It's getting much better, but I keep forgetting and start waving my arms around. I'll have to sit on my hands. See me. We don't need any more surprises. No, we certainly don't. Good surprises are very welcome. Good surprises are always very welcome, but not these bad ones. But Jupiter, Saturn, you've got this expansive energy, and you have this feeling of opportunity and the beneficial events that can come from the current energies. And Saturn in Aries, not comfortable in Aries, is going, whoa, 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 slow down, soft and gently. Yes, absolutely, Poonam. I'm being very careful with my shoulder. I will sit on my hands. So Saturn is reminding us all the time, everything is about timing. And so that goes for what is happening astrologically. Yes, we have got a tough week astrologically to get through. And again, I think it's, as many other astrologers say and have suggested about this energy, we have to be the observer. We have to do our best to not get caught into the drama, to not get caught into our own personal dramas and start acting out, but to actually take a step back and breathe and not react. Eri V, hi, good to see. Is it buffering? Don't know why. Maybe the internet doesn't like what I'm saying. Let's see what Manuela's saying. You were working in your garden for 5 hours. Now, that is a very good idea because, you know, Uranus is in Taurus. Taurus is about the earth. It's about gardening. And to use this Mars energy in a constructive, active way is the best way to deal with it over the next 24, 36 hours. Do something physical, but physical with safety in mind, because there is something so disruptive about this Mars-Uranus square. So it's about really taking it easy and taking things step by step. And yes, I'm seeing Estrella talking there about enjoying nature. That again is a wonderful use of this energy. And it's interesting for myself. It's, you know, it's Sunday. I've chosen to be free of any commitments other than this. Not even made a video today for anything else. I have done some preparation work, astrological preparation work on the videos that I plan to record this week, but I've actually enjoyed the silence. I've been spending a lot of time today just being in the moment, because that is so healing when we stay in the moment. So let's see what else we've got being said. We are, the whole planet is a planet of paradise. But unfortunately, there are those that don't see that and trash it and take away a lot of what is beautiful about the world. But we can always find a small area which we can nurture and change and help transform. Yes, silence and birds. And birds, I was reading, listening to the sound of birds apparently is incredibly good for us, because it reawakens that very primal, primitive instinct in us that when we were, you know, Neolithic man, we were so in tune with the energies of birds, insects, animals, fish, that the sounds and the noises resonate on a very deep level. And I think that there's something about this need to connect with nature that is actually very relevant at the moment and helps us to make sense and cope with the tragedies that are happening all around us. You've got a feeding spot on your balcony, Sil. That's lovely. That's beautiful. How lovely. Hi, Tiffany. Good to see you here. So basically, today's energy is, I think, about just taking a step back and being still and being the observer. That way, we don't get caught in the drama of anything. So if we move on and just have a little look at what else is happening this week. And remember, and I think I saw Wishing Pool Tarot here, we have to do a card, and we will do that at the end of the video. And so just moving on, because I want to talk about, I've got so many notes here. I want to talk about, oh God, I'll get there in a minute. Here we go. Right, the 17th. I knew I'd get there in the end. Mars enters Virgo on Tuesday. This is where we are going to start to see a shift in these energies, because Mars in Virgo is a very different energy. It's very precise. It's efficient. It's quietly powerful. It's not like in Leo, where it can be flashy and dramatic. This is like the focus of a surgeon, you know, doing surgery, doing very minute surgical procedures. So Mars in Virgo enjoys the benefits of Virgo's analytical side and Virgo's ability to be of service to others, and Virgo's practical common sense. So, yes, it's Father's Day here as well, and in the UK, I believe. I think it's Father's Day everywhere. Happy Father's Day, everybody. So we have with Mars in Virgo precise action. we have an ability to get to the root of problems. Our passion will be contained, but our need for perfectionism will be driven. So we will really, really be searching for perfection. And this is taking positive action within the confines of service to others, be it people, nature, animals, fish, birds. So there is something about the service to others and the hard work and discipline that comes from the sign of Virgo. So what are the challenges of Mars in Virgo? We can get caught in the perfectionism so that we don't complete tasks because we think they're not good enough. So we have to be mindful of that. We can sometimes be overcritical of others, including ourselves. See me, yeah, let's hope the president does recognize his place in the world and what and how he needs to behave. Well, Manuela, we have the G7 meeting in Canada over the next 2 to 3 days. And so all the world leaders, or the majority, some of the world leaders, let's put it that way, some of the world leaders are meeting in Canada. And the energy couldn't be more dramatic for them. Because today, starting with the Mars-Uranus square, is like, it gets off with a bang. Hopefully that's not literally. I think we all probably can agree we've had enough shocks for the last few days to last us quite a while. And so let's actually hope and pray that there are no more surprises presented by the cosmos today or tonight or tomorrow. Now, one of the things that can happen with Mars in Virgo is we do get caught into overthinking. We can get stuck in going over and over the same information and nitpicking it, so that then we can get caught into being too workaholic. So you might find, whilst Mars is in Virgo, you want to work hard, and you want to achieve the tasks that you've got to achieve, whether you work full-time or you're self-employed, or whether you are a stay-at-home mum or retired. But whatever you do, because even if we're retired, we have hobbies and things that we love doing. So we will be super mindful about getting all of those done as well, and addressing them. Another downside of Mars in Virgo is that we sit on our anger and we don't express it. And as you know, if we keep that anger within, it is not good for the self. So I'm not suggesting we go out there and act it out. What I am suggesting is that we have to find a way to channel it. Now, Mars in Leo finds that easier because Mars will get out there and do something action-packed. But Mars in Virgo may overdo it a bit with action, in the sense of, I must do my 10,000 steps a day, and get quite paranoid if you don't do it. I mean, I don't do anywhere near 10,000 steps, I'm afraid, but here we are. There we go. Oh, bless you, Manuela. Thank you. Thank you. It's actually a summer dress. It's right down to my mid-calf, and it's very cool, fresh cotton. Thank you very much. So let's see what else we can tell you about Mars in Virgo. So it's a good time to get organized. You will be able to do those things that you've been putting off. Clear out the garage, clear out a cupboard, clear out the drawers, get rid of all the rubbish and the clutter. Great energy for that. And so it is helpful energy for that. So let's see then, because the other very significant energy that we have, which we are already again in the energy of, is Jupiter in Cancer squaring Neptune in Aries. So this is exact on the 19th. Now, I will do a separate astrobite for this, as I will for Mars in Virgo. So I've got a busy day tomorrow. I have to do some videos. So Jupiter in Cancer. Jupiter, we know, is about expansion, luck, opportunity. So this is also the dreams we have, because it's squaring Neptune in Aries. Well, Neptune can represent our dreams, the ideas that we want to manifest. Jupiter is enlarging them, but perhaps because it's a square, making them somewhat unrealistic. So with regard, for instance, to the G7, as the 19th will be, I think, when it draws to a close, I think that the results of the G7 will be inconclusive, that there will have been a lot of rhetoric talk and tough talk and calm talk and all sorts of different ways of really analysing and going into things. And I think they will have gone round and round in circles and potentially got nowhere. And that will be because of Jupiter square Neptune, because Jupiter is enlarging all these, the what ifs. Oh, what if that happens? What if we do this? What if we take this direction? And Neptune is showing you the dream and the ideal of how it could be, but at the same time, bringing in a kind of mystical mist that clouds everything so that we can't actually see things clearly. So it's really tough with this kind of energy. So I just think that the whole G7 meeting will be basically, I'm sure it'll be great fun for them. They'll have some lovely meals, some lovely chats, some nice wines, and they will have a chance to sort of puff up their egos, take some nice photographs, and it'll all be quite inconclusive. So I don't think it's actually going to be terribly productive. That's interesting. You've got wildfires in Canada at the moment. That's bad. Oh gosh, and you need rain. I didn't realize that you have a lot of fires going on. Lola, Penny is ever practical. I do my best. Yes, the wildfires are devastating. You know what? When we get that Jupiter square Neptune, maybe we will get some flooding. Now there's a thought. Torrential rain that puts some of them out. Now that could be cool, couldn't it? We never know. So I think also Jupiter square Neptune is potential disillusionment. We have our belief systems, and we may start questioning our own beliefs that we've had in place for many, many years. And that can leave us feeling a little bit empty and a little bit lost and confused, which is very much that Neptune energy. So there is an opportunity with the Jupiter Neptune energy to be discerning about what you want to manifest. I think creative outlets to channel this energy are a good way forward. Still, I'm seeing what you're saying, to have some period with no particular action. Absolutely. Fires, floods. I mean, it's like the Old Testament. The wrath of the Almighty is upon us. Well, I mean, it makes you think, doesn't it? Gosh. Hey, Annabelle Sapphire, good to see you. You're not late. Nobody's ever late. They arrive when they are meant to arrive. And we are very glad to see you here. And you know, with this Jupiter square Neptune, I think it's also important to nurture your inner child, to really be aware of that the child within that sometimes we forget to give the attention to, that needs holding, reassuring, parenting, loving, honoring, and respecting. And you know what? Also, and playing. Because with everything that is going on at the moment, it's very difficult, I think, to sort of, you know, it's almost as if we feel guilty because of so many terrible things going on if we have fun or if we enjoy ourselves. But the thing is, we are saturated by news channels, news media, whether it comes to us via social media or other methods. And I think it's important that we constantly work on keeping our collective vibration high and staying in that energy of peace, love, but at the same time, not ignoring or denying the existence of the dark shadow side and the negative. I think that is also a really important thing to acknowledge. Now, moving on from the 19th, then we have on the 21st, we have the summer solstice. So by Saturday, fantastic. We get the, Christine, you've got the nightly fireworks, so have we, because it's feast time in Mortar and Gozo. So every night we have loud bangs going on all over the place. So it's very disconcerting. And the animals, of course, my poor pussycats hate it. I'm just seeing what Nikki Hensel Freedom is saying. G7 meeting, it's full of globalization leaders. As a Canadian, cost of living. Yeah. And hi, Jim, good to see you here. Martinique, you've got lots of protests going on where you are. What about love? Do we have any good days to send messages of love this month? Well, that's a very good thought. I mean, the new moon in Cancer on the 25th of June, which is not this week, but the following week, would be a lovely day to send messages of love if that's what you are wanting to do. But, you know, also just feeling that it's the right time. Sometimes we have to, sometimes we overthink these things and we think, oh, I don't know, is this the right time to send it? Or what should I do? And when can I do this? And don't overthink it. If you want to send something, send love to someone, send it. We actually don't have time to sit around and wait. We only have the now. And sometimes what happens is we don't take the action we should take in the now. Astrologically, yeah, I would say the new moon on the 25th, but hey, that's 10 days away. That's an awfully long time to wait. Yeah, Jim, there's never a bad day for that, for sending love. And give yourself love, absolutely. As much what we send out, we have to also give to ourselves, because if we're sending out hate, anger, and vengeance, that comes back on us. So there's a fine balance that we have to attain between the positive and the negative. As I've said before, we are human. And so we have light and dark. And we have to keep those working in harmony with each other. We cannot stay in the light all of the time, because if we don't know what dark is, how can we know what light is? Because then what happens is we're trying to stay in light and ignoring the dark. We're actually getting into something which is called spiritual bypassing. And that is also not healthy. That's going to be the word of the day I do when I do the Jupiter-Neptune square as an astrobite. So I will talk more about that when I get to do that video. And AMAC, yes, self-love, rain dancing. Oh gosh, that is an amazing experience doing that. Yes, Annabelle, the talk and aggression, how did we get to this point? And yes, Cosmic BL, send it vibrationally in advance. Andrea Ukitsa from Mexico, how lovely to see you here. And you are so very welcome. You're very welcome, Andrea. You've been curious to know what is recommended astrologically, Craftomatic. Okay, well, as I say, I think let's get through this week. But there's never a bad day to send a message about love. That's really what I want to say. We have the summer solstice this Saturday, the 21st of June. For some of you in the States and Canada, it will be on the 20th because it's determined by, it's a point in time. And so it's actually almost a minute before the sun moves into Cancer is the exact moment of the summer solstice when the earth has rotated on its axis to the farthest point north or south. So remember, in the southern hemisphere, for all my wonderful followers down in Australia and New Zealand and South America, of course, and South Africa, you will be having the winter solstice. And for you, you are going to start that move towards winter solstice, you're going to move towards summer. In the northern hemisphere, we're going to move towards winter, which is really strange because, of course, here we are, we've just moved into summer. And yet the earth is at that point where it's going to start tipping backwards. I mean, the precision of the science of the astronomy is extraordinarily exciting. I really do find the way the universe works is fascinating. Let's have a look. Albina, love, blessings, harmony, some good rains and peace to all. I would say amen to that. Absolutely. So the summer solstice, we have with this solstice a really interesting energy actually, because the sun is actually making a square aspect to the North Node. So there is something highly significant about that. The North Node is in Pisces. And what this represents is that there is something about the fulfillment of destiny, collective destiny, from the solstice on, so that the second half of the year is going to be reaping what we have introduced through the first half of the year, because obviously the other point of the sun goes to the south node, which is our karma, what we're bringing in karmically. And the north node is where we are going to collectively. And so that feels very important for this shift in energy with the solstice energy. Now, of course, I'm doing a video for the solstice, and I will do that in depth as the week progresses. I will I will get that done. And I think what's interesting is the sun, as soon as it moves into the sign of Cancer on the 21st, will be conjunct Jupiter in Cancer. So this to me bodes well. This feels like very positive energy for what can unfold in the coming 6 months. Now, with that in mind, we have to put the work in. Don't forget Saturn in Aries and Neptune in Aries, because I haven't even done a video about those two babies yet. Neptune and Saturn conjunct in Aries, even though the exact conjunction is not till February next year, 2026. I am going to do a video at some point over the next month or so to just talk about this Saturn-Neptune energy, because it's hugely significant, because you've got Saturn again, slowing things down, the old order, rules, rules and regulations and structure. And then you've got Neptune saying, but, oh, look at how pretty everything is. And isn't everything misty and foggy and wonderful and dreamlike? And so you have this, it's like it's like you could say that what we are seeing at the moment being acted out on the stage of the planet is the last death throes of the old regimes, of the old ways, of the age of Pisces. And that what is happening is that we are at the dawn. And in a sense, this summer solstice brings that dawn into more prominence, the dawning of the age of Aquarius, so that we really, really are in this energy of bringing in a new world order. And if these guys at the G7 the next few days think they're going to keep things just the same, well, aren't they in for a wake-up call? Especially when Uranus moves into Gemini on July the 7th. I think that could be very interesting, because my goodness, Uranus is going to wake up our ability to communicate and our ability to think outside the box and with innovation and invention. So, yes, Christine, the world has changed forever. Still, I hope I'm right too. That would be, waiting for the dawning of the age of Aquarius. Absolutely. Absolutely. The moon, interestingly, for the summer solstice has just moved into Taurus, because it's moving round the zodiac to get to Cancer, where we're going to have the new moon on the 25th. So let's see what else we can say about this, because we really do have some spiritual detoxing to do. We have some emotional detoxing, some political detoxing, some life detoxing. Lenny, I'm just seeing what you're saying. From looking at your chart for the 26th, very briefly on AstroSeek, I feel this year is laying the ground for next year for me. And thank God people will finally get a break from the greedy rulers. Well, that's very interesting that you're saying that, Lenny, because I do feel that this is a year of putting certain foundations in place, or at least having an idea. It's like having a great big piece of paper where we're just writing down the ideas of what we want to manifest, what we want to bring in to manifestation in 2026 and beyond. And so I do feel that we're going to look back at 2025 and go, oh my God, how did any of us get through that? How did we survive that? Because the first 6 months have been, well, what a ride, and not a fun ride in any respect. Yes, Christine, absolutely. We do have to put the ruling powers to bed. Yes, we have to not just think differently, right, Cosmic BL, but we have to act differently. Yeah, Lenny, humans are resilient. Very good point. And we forget that sometimes. So let's just have a look at what else we've got. So, I think that is enough of the astrology for the week ahead, because it is a particularly, it's like we've been building up this energy last week, and here we are on the plateau of it. And then I think as we get towards the weekend, it'll just start to dip down again, which will be a welcome relief. But I have a couple of words, a sort of phrase for the week ahead, and then we will do our tarot card for the week ahead. Because what I've got, because I thought we've got a lot of this energy of contraction and expansion, with Saturn contraction and Jupiter expansion, and that energy is here today. So yes, Simi, next year I think is about production. Hey, Lakeside Laura, good to see you here. Welcome. Lovely to see you here. Welcome. So here's my quotes for contraction versus expansion. Now, somebody called Haviz said, fear is the cheapest room in the house. I would like to see you living in better conditions. Nice one. And I think all of this is about reflecting that tightening that we get within, and the resistance or the fear when we shrink from all these events and hold back. Now, Viktor Frankl said, when we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. And of course, this is about being adaptable. And that is what we have to do. Because if we are going to survive, to be part of the process and the progress of the change that we all know is needed, we have to adapt. Because if we're rigidly standing there against the tide, we will break. So we have to adapt. Even if the adapting that we have to do is not comfortable in the short term, we have to keep our eye on the main event, on the bigger picture. We have to have that eagle sight, that broad ability to see everything that is going on in the world. Albert Camus said, in the depth of winter, I finally learned that within me there lay an invincible summer. I like that. That's cool. Michael Beckwith said, pain pushes until vision pulls. That's almost like the Jupiter-Neptune square. The pain of the square is pushing us to have the vision of the future that can be bigger, better, brighter, positive. Joseph Campbell said, the cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek. And isn't that true? Now, the next few quotes are about expansion, growth, openness, and trust. And Anaïs said, and the day came when the risk to remain tight in a bud was more painful than the risk it took to blossom. We will blossom. We will. Rumi said, you were born with potential. You were born with goodness and trust. You were born with wings. Learn to use them and fly. And Howard Thurman said, don't ask what the world needs. Ask what makes you come alive and go and do it. Because what the world needs is people who have come alive. Oh my goodness, that is going to really move up a few notches when Uranus moves into the sign of Gemini. A lot of people are going to come alive and wake up. Anaïs Nin said again, life shrinks or expands in proportion to one's courage. And Rumi said, your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it. Well, so that's the week ahead. I think that's pretty, pretty much as it is. And I think it's time for a tarot card for the week. We are alive, Simi. Absolutely, we are alive. Yes, Lakeside Laura, good to see you here. And Annabelle, when a doctor has to break a bone in order to heal it properly. Absolutely spot on. Lenny, you are so welcome. These are tedious times. And yeah, blocking out sometimes the loudness of the world is really quite important. Pi R square, pi around. Yeah, true. Shannon is energy. We are going to make it. Of course we're going to make it. Do you know what? We always do. And we will. Okay, Wishing Pool Tarot. What have you got? You've pulled the Page of Wands. It's that fire energy. You're spot on. It can be initiating something with enthusiasm and then it being quite short-lived or fizzling out. That is so much the Jupiter square Saturn. That is spot on. Also Mars square Uranus. That is a beautiful example of that. Yeah, Annabelle, it's tarot time. AMAC, you've got the Eight of Pentacles. So we still have to work hard for our money, don't we? Because that's really what the Eight of Pentacles is saying. I think it's always about energy exchange, isn't it? To get something, you have to give something up. And everything comes at a price. There are no free lunches, as they say. And you got a blank page, Cosmic BL. Means a need for awareness, admitting we need to transform deeply and feel our feelings. You've got more fireworks. Okay. Well, I've got, interestingly, the Eight of Swords. Okay, Simi, you've got the Tower. Well, destruction of the old to make way for the new. And the Eight of Swords is showing us that the chains that bind us, or the bonds that bind us, are in a sense of our own making. We are only reaping what we have sown in the way we have voted in our respective countries for our respective governments. We're reaping what we've sown. And maybe what Uranus moving into Gemini is really going to make us much more aware of is to wake up and be accountable for our decisions and our thinking, and to inform ourselves better of the right choices to make when we have the opportunities to choose new leaders and new governments. And I like that, Christine. Choose your timeline and walk into it with confidence. Absolutely. And, I don't think of the Eight of Swords as a bad card. I think it's very much expressing where we are at the moment and where we are caught. We are caught in a sort of stalemate situation. But, the Eight Swords aren't touching her. And behind her, there is a castle. There's also water on the ground, the unconscious. And I think this is telling this lady to go within. Because if we go within, I think she can break free of that which binds her up. She can break free of the restrictions which maybe are self-imposed. And then she can take the blindfold off. So metaphorically, she removes the mists of Neptune from her eyes and she can see where she is going. And then she can go to where she needs to get to, the top of the castle. So let's just have a look at what you're saying before we bring tonight's to a close. Hi, Emo, good to see you here. Lovely to see you. Okay, Manuela, you're going, my love. It's lovely to see you. Yes, Wishing Pool Tarot, mental imprisonment, being trapped by our thinking. Spot on. Very good. I like that. And what else are we saying? Everything is not what it seems. It never is it, Christine? Never is. And let me just see if anything else to say. And in the meantime, please remember to like, comment, subscribe, share, and welcome to new subscribers, because the channel's been going through a little bit of a kind of a shift, and new subscribers are coming in, which is lovely to see. And, if you are here and you've only been here recently, it's lovely to have you here. Thank you so much for supporting me and my channel and for being part of our soul fam. And remember, if you do want to have a one-to-one natal chart reading, a follow-up, or a natal chart reading with transits, go to my website, pennydix.com, email me direct at penny@pennydix.com. You get me personally, and we then sort out with the time zones the best time for us to meet. So you're so welcome, Jim. You're so welcome. And I want to say to Titsil, please stay safe, honey. Please stay safe. And that the rest of us that aren't in your part of the world are sending love, healing, and common sense to the leaders. That has to be a great wish, doesn't it? You're so welcome, Poonam. Janice, you're welcome. You're all totally welcome. And yes, we have to send prayers and just pray that common sense prevails and that people recognize the value of human life and human existence. What can we say? Cosmic BL. Okay. Yes, we need to be aflame together and ignite the universe. Yeah, have a good week, everyone. As I say, I'm going to start recording tomorrow some astrobites. There'll be a few this week. I'm not quite sure how many, about 3, I think. And I'm going to record the new moon. Give Jerry plenty of time to do his twiddly bits. Anyway, guys, listen, I'm going to go. Take care. Have a wonderful week. Have a wonderful day. And stay safe, everybody. Especially if you're in a difficult part of the world, please stay safe. Loads of love to you all. Bye for now. Bye.